Hi everyone, I'm Cori Kugler and this is Tara Kugler and we are the Kugler team. We're sitting today in our beautiful listing at 424 Golden Springs in Riverside South, and we're going to be talking about something that's really becoming more common in today's marketplace, and that is multi-generational living.
Yes, and today we are so lucky. Joining us is Elke Harder, a real estate agent who specializes in helping families navigate the world of multi-generational homes and founder of Multigen Living by Design. Welcome. So Elke, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. This listing you have here, definitely is the epitome of what families are looking for in multi-generational living.
So Elke, for people who aren't quite familiar with the term, it's not something that you're used to hearing as much. What is actually multi-generational living?
So multi-generational living is really when we have multiple generations, typically 3 living under one household, or
3 generations.
Three
Wow.
generations.
Okay.
So usually mom and dad, their children, and the grandkids all together.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're doing it for either elder care, child support, financial reasons, and financial wealth, and being able to share some of the financial, of everyday living together in one household.
That's fascinating. And we're seeing this more in Ottawa, right?
We're actually seeing this all across the country. I was looking at the 2021 stats, and we have 2.4 million people in Canada living multi-generational.
Wow.
And we're having our next census this May, so we're fully anticipating that number going up. And this is really just supportive of families, and they're really thinking it through now and pulling together their resources to keep each other happy and afloat and support each other. It's a fascinating. It's not a new concept,
right?
But one we're starting to see the trend more and more in Ottawa. And actually, I've noticed this past year, people are talking about it much more frequently.
We've certainly started hearing about it more and more, and then connecting with you as well and finding out, not only are you a real estate agent, but a multi-gen specialist with their own company just dedicated to that. So fascinating.
Elke, if I can ask you, what made you specialize in this particular area of real estate?
So going back, I would visit family overseas, my grandparents, and they were all living multi-generational. And I mean, as a child, I thought, what a great concept.
Yes.
Something we really did not see here. So over the years, I sort of kept looking into it, and I even got to a point where I was redesigning floor plans. It was just a key interest of mine. Yeah. And I came and went, but when we started seeing houses increase with double digits, it was very challenging for a lot of the younger kids. Yeah. And so I started to do more research, and people were inquiring, how can I, help my child? Not everyone has thousands of dollars in order to give their children for a down payment. So I started doing more research, and what I did notice is that a lot of people were not doing those discussions that we have with our clients before. And that's when I really started to dive in. And there are a lot of things that people really should be considering. It builds the foundation. So when you do make that move, you're making it with much more confidence, with some guidelines and parameters. You know what you're stepping into. So when you're making decisions later on, you've got that foundation to work with. It's a lot easier, more supportive, and a better, happier household.
That totally makes sense, and that's super interesting.
Yeah, you don't want to, after year one, regret that decision of moving in together. There's a lot of work to get there. Let's make it long-term.
Let's make this a long-term decision.
Absolutely.
And I can imagine every situation is different.
Absolutely. Every family dynamic is very different. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. You need to talk to all the different individuals to help you make that decision. Yeah. And so what's good for you guys might be different for somebody else.
That makes sense.
And it's perfect. No right or wrong.
Good. Love that. So I guess one of the really big questions our buyers have out there is, what is the logistics of multi-generational living? What are the most important steps and factors that go into something like this?
There's so many very important factors, and this is a really great question. One of the topics that we talk about is, how is this going to be structured financially? Usually mom and dad are coming in maybe with a larger down payment, or maybe it's their house. So it's really important to understand, how does that look? And this is where it's very important to speak to a number of people. One would be your financial advisor, especially if you have more than one child. So if you have 3 or 4 children, but you're living with one, how are your finances going to be dispersed? Who's going to be, who's going to be on title? And, is it full or part ownership? These are things that we talk about with our finance person. I had one family where mom and dad were going to be on title, then they weren't going to be on title, and then at the last minute they were told they needed to be on title, but percentage of ownership was different. So that's going to look very different for every different family.
Yeah.
Another one that's really important is legal, and you should engage with a lawyer and talk about what is called a cohabitation agreement. So that talks about all the legal aspects. So we were talking about finances and part ownership, and that is something they're going to probably be engaged in with you as well as, so what happens if one partner passes away, somebody, they part and they're no longer married. How does that all look, and how is that going to look like as a family and your financial end as well? And you can do something a little separate, which I think is important, is have that discussion of how is your household going to run? What are the expectations? If you have pets, are they going to be taken care of by, mom and dad or the kids? How are the household chores going to be done? Another thing is everyone talks about, okay, we're going to split the finances of the bills, but what happens when there's major expenses, like if you have need a new roof, or if you need a new furnace, or if you want to put a pool in or put a fence in, whatever your family decides. What if one couple wants to put it in and the other doesn't? So the kids may want one for their kids, like a pool, for example.
Yeah.
As the grandparents, they may not be interested in a pool, so
they don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, so having those sorts of potential discussions beforehand, you don't want conflict in the house over things like that. I mean, things will come up, but if you have the foundation, it works out a lot better.
Pre-planning, and so on and so forth. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Another really good topic is estate planning. So when I mentioned earlier, what if mom and dad have 3 or 4 children? It's really important that they speak with their financial advisor to make sure that, everything is set up how, I don't want to say equally, because that's not how it may work, but at least they can make the decision to see how the future is going to be going forward.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so good to know. I mean, there's clearly a lot to know here, and we're just scratching the surface, I know.
There's so many things.
I know we can go on and on.
Yeah, we can. There's a number of these are just the really, really key ones, and the rest will sort of fall into place.
Got you.
But there's a number of topics like insurance and other items that are really important, and they're all key professionals that
and you know who to reach out to with these questions.
Yeah. And we engage, we make recommendations in regards to who they should be speaking to get a professional opinion in that particular field.
Fantastic.
What is something about multi-generational living that might surprise people?
Good question. So I've talked with clients a number of years later after they're living multi-gen, and the feedback I get is that they're so happy because their family bonds have really strengthened. And it's just a natural thing. It builds over time. It's not instantaneous, but it gives people a good opportunity when they've, try to get all those discussions out before they move in. Once they move in, you got to tweak them here and there, right? But everything sort of falls into place a lot easier, and their family relationships, they've gotten really a lot closer with the clients that I've spoken with.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think it's getting more popular. I know there's certain cultures where it's understood.
Oh, and it's an honor to live with your parents.
Yes.
Oh, it is. When I speak with some cultures, so we talked about the lawyer, so about all the legalities. When it becomes very cultural and an honor to be, taking care of your parents, no, there is no cohabitation agreement.
No.
Absolutely not. no, it would be an insult, right?
Yeah.
Because
Understood.
you all live together and they make it work. But I think that's also because it's been part of their culture growing up.
Yes.
It's not something new. Whereas I find in North America, so Canada and the US, this is becoming a growing phenomenon. So people are still trying to figure out how it's going to work for them.
Sure. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And I can imagine there's also a lot of financial benefits.
Absolutely. So it's not just the day-to-day expenses, as we talked about earlier, and the larger expenses, but it's also your time. So what happens is I find mom and dad or the kids, one or the other, move closer to be together, but in separate households. And then as parents start to age and maybe not be able to do as many things around the house, then the kids keep on going over back and forth to help mom and dad out. And so a lot of times I see it happening later in life because it's a financial benefit, but it's also a supportive benefit for them as well.
That makes sense. It's convenient too to have
Absolutely.
everybody under one roof, and
well, you're not cutting 2 lawns,
they're safe and sound, and you're quick in case of an emergency or something like that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Elke, now that we're sitting here in this home, what makes this home, 424 Golden Springs, such a great multi-generational home?
When I walked into this house and you guys showed it to me, I was just awestruck, right? Not only is it a stunning home, but what this home offers multi-generational living is you have enough good-sized bedrooms. I've gone into homes where the bedrooms start to become really small, just because of space, right? So you have beautiful spaces upstairs. You have an option of a bedroom down on the main floor if somebody can't do the stairs.
Yes.
And you have full accommodations downstairs with that legal accessory dwelling unit that you have, which is amazing. So it gives everybody some privacy.
Yeah.
But another thing that's really good, so say you have 3 generations just in the 2 floors here, you also have separate living spaces, right? So you can use the front room either as an office, which it is currently, but it could also be another living space. You have a living space here. So it's nice that if you have guests over, somebody else can be in the other living space. Maybe the front room could be the entertaining room, when guests come over, and
a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, sure. And then somebody could stay in here with their tea and pajamas, and not have to worry about it. Shut the door, and there we go. Yeah. So it has a lot of great options, and I think the key thing is bedroom sizes, location, and separate living spaces. If someone just needs their own space.
Yeah, so it is fantastic, and thank you for coming here and talking
you're
about
welcome.
it today. One more thing about the downstairs legal accessory unit, because you've seen quite a few.
Yes.
And I know you did mention to us that when you were down there, what a great space it was compared to a lot that we typically see in terms of ceiling height and openness and windows and that luxury kitchen down there.
Oh my gosh, I want that kitchen.
Me too. And you were mentioning the open concept of it.
So when we're looking at accessory dwelling units down in the lower level of a home, a lot of times it can feel sort of cramped, especially if it's built as a home. It's not designed to have that sort of living area downstairs with kitchens and bathrooms and bedrooms and living rooms, right? This home, from what you've told me, it was designed and built as a multi-gen home. So the lower level, that was taken into consideration. So it does not feel like you're in a lower level. It just feels like you're in like a condo or an apartment or something. And you have your own entryway in the backyard. So, you want to scooch in after an evening out, you're not waking up everyone else in the household, right? So it's wonderful. And the size, the ceiling height is so important. My home is older. I don't have that ceiling height, So
same here. So this one was definitely, they took it into consideration when building it to have that lower level dwelling unit as feeling like that area condo. So thank you for that.
Oh no, it's beautiful. I love that kitchen.
We love that kitchen.
Elke, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a really busy time for all of us, so we do appreciate your expertise.
Oh, you're very welcome. We always have so much fun when we get together.
We do. And if you're curious about multi-generations, we'd be happy to chat or introduce you to Elke personally. And if you'd like to see 424 Golden Springs, give us a call, reach out anytime, and thank you so much for watching.